nothing to do with the campus as it is today, but it's part of the proposal we have from Atechin or the group that he was working with. So the environment given here is shown here, is the given situation. So we'll explain.
Further information about the site. It is located on the ceremonial along the ceremonial drive or entrance to the outer plaza of the central buildings of the new campus university.
Could you briefly orient us where this is going to today?
It's this is the existing students' building, and we have the stadium below there, and this is extending to the west. The neighboring buildings, we have the central administration and the aquarium museum around this central plaza. And we have also here the central pedestrian plaza or students' plaza, grouping these different buildings amongst the third library. And through here I am having my main access to my building through either this tunnel here or through there. You can see the adjustment with this side plan, how I have rearranged the design of the central plaza. We can divide the components of the building into natural, which have the botanical garden to the south of it, down here, and the plaza which I have provided. And if we move to the ground floor plan, we can see the different components. The building itself. This can be divided into the main auditorium space, which can seat 1,500 people inside here. Then the seminar facilities, small auditorium which can seat 200, and two smaller ones which can seat 150 each, and it can be divided into two. 5 partition wall. And then this exhibition space, which belongs to this area, and then the VIP lounge and waiting area, and lastly the refreshment area over there. And these different spaces are located with respect to the givens that the site implies. To the south, where I have the botanical garden, I'm locating the refreshment area and the foyer, the main auditorium, and I'm having visual contacts. You can see this is the southern elevation, the restaurant over there. And then the main approach to the building, which is, as I explained before, through here or coming from there. So this implies or attracts the main entrances to my building. The main auditorium, I have it through here. And also for the VIP entrance, it's from the private direct also entrance, and I have also the administration entrance through here. There is another entrance for the seminar facilities through there, which is also clearly approached. And these different areas of the building, they could be used separately without I mean, we can separate the use of this one. We can open this door from the smaller seminar, or just close that portion and use the larger auditorium. This larger auditorium consists of another balcony, which is the section we can see it here. The main auditorium and the balcony. And by the way, this main auditorium, you can use it through this foyer. You can come through this main stairs, use these doors, or come directly through this door to this level here, or going down by an arm and coming to this one. You can see all this in this section. This is the plaza level here, when you enter the foyer level. And this is the level of that runway there. And you go one floor, and across this bench here, you can come to the upper part of this main auditorium, and to reach the balcony, you will have to go 2 more stairs, and that way. The level of the administration is the same as the level of the stage. I mean, the VIP lounge have their entrance here and their lounge, and they can come directly through here, the first rows of seats down this steps here, or they come through this door to the main stage. The administration, they also can come directly through here. I have the manager and the secretary, and I have also the upper floor of the administration. I have the technicians and maintenance people, and also for simultaneous translation tools, 4 of them, also located upstairs. A partial detail of this small auditorium is shown here. And about the structure I'm using, I'm using long-span structures for the larger auditorium, which are trusses, as shown in this plan here, 5 of them. And then for I have divided these into independent structures. So each one of them is isolated structure with expansion joints in between. We can see it here in this 1 to 50 drawings. It shows this part here. The structure of this small auditorium and seminar rooms beside. And also in section, if we take section here, like that, this one, we can see the different levels and also each one of them it has its own structure to simplify the erection of that part, and also to have a buffer space because of the noise, to avoid the noise between them. And also this one, I'm putting the baggage handling units in these lower portions, which are stored there, and the refreshment and the part room over here.
On the roof?
On the roof, yeah. On the roof of this. And it is hidden because I'm having a lower ceiling here and a higher parapet.
Where's that plan? Which
This plan is this auditorium. About this system detail, I'm taking it, I'm showing this portion of it, section. I'm having, we're talking about these two columns, which are these two. I'm having a curved wall in here, which are shown there. But the beams running from this column to that one, they are straight one, as shown in the dotted line. And this smaller area, I mean, this is the beam which is reinforced, but this area is only cured with that beam. We can see it here in this section. These are the slab and then the beam, this one, and this is the area between the dotted line which is projecting out.
It's also concrete.
Yeah.
No reinforcing there?
No reinforcement. It's only coming straight. Reinforcement is.
No, I'm referring to your section. How come the reinforcing is pushed to the left side?
Yeah, because the beam is only up to here.
Okay.
And this is only an additional part of the beam, but it is not reinforced. I mean, the reinforcing parts will run straight up to here. And this is only two of the frame which I have.
This is also concrete, right?
Yeah, and it is good at the same time. Poured, I mean, at the same time. To have that this curving wall. About the elevations, I've tried to even more emphasize the two entrances here. We are looking coming from that plaza, and also getting some openings for the VIP waiting and lounge area, and for the administration over here. And also to the south, I have tried to minimize the openings as much as I could. To have this contact, visual contact with the foyers to the botanical garden, and this, and here also, and here the restaurant has an outdoor facility also. For the upper up here in the upper foyer, they have their openings in the sides, and they can use there also here. You can see it in the elevation, these two openings, and they can use the roof, this also, if the weather helps for that, you can see it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, can we have our commentaries?
Can I ask a question first? Could this be used as a theater or only as auditorium?
About the functions that take place in the auditorium, through the analysis I made, I'm giving priority for lectures and conferences. And then the secondary priority is given to the theater and drama acting. And then for concerts and other activities, they can take place but not in the professional level as previous. For that, for lecturing and conferences which need personal contact, it limited me to a distance of maximum 30 meters from the last row to the stage. And also, this lecturing and lecturing, it needs a short preparation time and special acoustic design. Yeah. Where the other, for concerts, it needs longer preparation time, and but the visual contact there is not that important. Where we can see examples that the auditorium can extend to 45 or even more than that.
In the case of the theater, I think you need a stage and a whole structure as a stage.
Yeah, I'm providing a backstage area with makeup and changing rooms. But as I told you, it's
Second.
yeah.
But my general impression is that it's a good project. It's the difficult one which you handled with considerable success. Then problems of the function of the project, problems related to geography. And I think the general result is good. There are some reservations or problems I have with the project. Probably the biggest one is the great amount of circulation area. You enter from the opposite side of the natural entrance, which is from the back. And of course, it's related. This is because of the layout. So you expect
This is one of the difficulties I have to face.
Exactly.
Having the main approach through there and the botanical garden or the interesting views through there.
But still, you can take people from this direction and then
This way.
There is nothing that forces you to begin the building here. Okay? If you consider this, maybe the entrance, this entrance could be here. All of these facilities could be here. And then you have a more compact foyer and circulation area. Right now it looks too much indirect. I'm not saying that you must enter from the back. I agree with you in principle that you can make an indirect entrance. One of the very nice elements of Islamic architecture is this belt entrance. But I think you made it too much. It's now too much indirect and too long. And I think it has now some wasted space and a lot of columns also. This area was a little bit more compact. I think the result would have been better. The combination of the three seminars, we call it seminar halls, is a nice combination in terms of geometry. But in my opinion, the same geometry could have allowed you to make the middle one again entering from the back. So you enter the two smaller ones from the back, but the bigger one in the middle from the front, which is not always it's always prepared to have the opposite way, to have it entering from the back. So I think with this free geometry we have, I think we could have made the layout in a way that you still enter from the back. The geometric order, I know it is difficult, and as I said, it's considerably successful in your part, in your case, the form, the structure, it looks reasonable, but I think you have a lot of different spans. If you could have simplified this geometry without losing the basic idea. And I like the richness of the form and the variety of it. But all of that could still be made into simpler units, so that you end up with something like maybe 3 basic units repeated. If you count the number of units, I think you will end up maybe 6 or 7. So it's probably a little bit too much. I have the feeling that you have exaggerated the height of the auditorium. For the people to go to the balcony, they will go 2 stories up. I think the view lines could allow you to make it lower, to make the bottom point lower, and to make the upper roof lower.
If this is at the stage level and the main foyer level, so to make easier circulation at the back there.
No,
this is where why I have to go higher there.
I agree with that, but the height of the balcony, the bottom point of the balcony, could it be lower? Could the top roof be lower?
And here also I had to have a higher ceiling for this.
No, but what's being said is that the actual balcony, seating, could have been brought a little low. So you don't have to climb 2 stories to get to the balcony level. It should have been brought down a little. The foyer height could have been brought down.
Yeah, I got the point.
This could be done lower, and this could be done lower. I think it is the ratio between this and this. It looks maybe the other point is the differentiation between the large span structure and the small span structure. And it's not clearly expressed in the form and the elevations. You play it more with the walls, which is nice. I think you had a very big challenge in this project, and as I said, you are considerably successful. But these are some of the points that could have made it better. I'm finished.
I think the structure is much bigger challenge in this kind of a project. I see that you have changed considerably from the previous concept. But here again, I would say that your structure is something of a question. You are having very huge truss system. You have very long span trusses resting between these columns, no, I'll just refer to these columns and this shear wall. First of all, a big question here, why bigger columns for the same length and span and a smaller column here, a smaller section of the column. Secondly, because of the angle, this shear wall has to be abutted or supported in a way that it will support the whole structure. I'm not so sure whether you will have this simple shape of the shear wall to support all the structure. You see, you are having a load which is not purely vertical, it's sliding off. So the shears here would be much more difficult to handle. Secondly, there is no definition of the stage area, structurally of course, and the auditorium area. And I'm not sure whether you have a sight line which goes and meets the stage area. I don't think you can possibly have a sight line. You have to keep this thing here, and if you put here, you can only see this thing. Anybody standing here will not be seen by the stage, by this, these people sitting in the balcony. I suppose you have a varying angle of seats as you go away from the stage. You have a varying angle, and it becomes a kind of a parabolic curve or a hyperbolic curve. And as you go to the balconies, they have a different angle. So probably the angle, Professor Farhad's point, is valid that you could have brought the balcony lower and of course change the angle so that you can have the sight line. I'm not sure you'll have a positive sight line at the stage. You can't possibly see the front portion of the stage. And structurally, I think you should have isolated the stage from the rest of the auditorium area, because you're providing a backstage area which can possibly accommodate the theatrical performances, the theatrical activities, and they need a different kind of stage. The services, they need to be having a possibility of hanging background stages or background sceneries on the stage. And I think you need a background stage area structurally isolated from the rest of the auditorium. And other thing is, again, coming back to the structure, here you have more defined problem. There the space is dominated by the cellar itself. But I think the location of columns, although they may follow simple main structure, is not appropriate to the kind of space used generating. This space seems to be larger than this space. As you enter, you find yourself into an area which is not visually balanced. Why the row of columns on the left side as you enter from here, or on the right side as you enter from here? Why they are not in the center? So this should be some kind of a visual harmony as you create the structure. I also see that you have this cantilever from the rest of the area. This kind of a beam would be very difficult to make, and because you have this void, maybe a couple of columns there wouldn't really make any problem with the structure. But I think, as has already been said, the problem with this kind of point is the structure. And although spatially you have very successfully created a space which is usable, you still have to solve many structural issues.
In any case, the start of the project is usually one that involves the participation of great many specialists. However good you may be, or you may think you are, you can never do it alone. Very many specialists, more than any other building, are involved. In that sense, the many phases that were passed help you to understand the difficulty, if nothing else, but you cannot solve it easily. And what is said about the stage, I don't know. Perhaps the interesting aspect was maybe considered that the continuity of the auditorium into the stage area without this definite break might be the point of interest. However, it may not be very practical. A stage is a place where you put on a performance. It's a very special thing. In this type of auditorium, or in this type of place where there is a very distinct focal point and an activity there. It's rehearsed many times to make the performance. Right? It has to be very perfect, this type of method. So in that sense, the framing of the performance is also a contributing factor. To create a picture image, actually, like a television screen. You might say, is one aspect. Of course, there are many, many different schools of thought in this. You have read about this, you know. The proscenium arch is the thing that comes in there. That may have helped to shorten the span, as you had in your earlier screen. Anyway, the structural problems exist. The spatial aspects is your concern. We have done the best. So, I should say. It's too controversial. If you go into it, as we said in the morning, you may get yourself hanged. So,
there is this point about the open space between the aisle or the gallery here. What is the use of it?
This is actually made when I was trying to merge these two structures, the one coming with 45 degrees and this one with 60 degrees. And merging these two instead of having inner spaces with these awkward angles, I just try to have it as an outer space which could be used for lighting, and also the lighting the conference facilities. For example, we have a conference manager, their facilities printing but actually it's from the structural.
But it could have been a good space, outdoor space. You did not consider it. Here, in this area, I see this as just plugged in. Right? It could have been treated better.
This the door.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. So it.
One major problem with the site. I think the guy who did the concept, who did the design here, thought about one thing. He's orienting everything to here, this center, right? That's the shape of the courtyard. So, it's forcing the view to the, what you call mihrab or the qibla walls. The same thing, it has the intention here. This building has the intention. But he didn't do anything here. It's the same thing here. It's the same thing here, this side, right? He's orienting the thing to the botanical garden. And you come and you put your building here, somewhere in between, you know. Somebody who's showing his shoulder and he's not showing his face. So, I think the orientation of this building is to look at it this way, right? You cannot orient the building from here. This is the orientation of the building. It gives you the view that this is the orientation when you look at the form this way. So I thought the best idea is just to disregard the botanical garden. The best thing is just to locate the building here, in this way. That's my first impression.
I think that point was mentioned to Anis last semester. If you remember, I was in jury, and one of the points that I mentioned was the question of orientation. I see Dr. Fahad and our friend both are in agreement with what I said. Definitely, you have a question of entering and approaching the building. It's not appropriate. In other points, I'm in agreement. Your structure here, that wall is very weak. In your section shows that to hold that huge truss. I'm not convinced about the way you reinforce your beams there, because you see on the top you have a wall on it, and I don't know if you have consulted a structural engineer or have seen the section. Fine. It is true that in a project like that, structure is a challenging one and there are complexity. But the thing is, at the same time, there are standard solutions as well. This is something that architects have been dealing with for a long time, and you could have availed yourself to those standard solutions. What I feel is lacking, knowing your capacity, is two questions, are very important, or perhaps three questions, in an auditorium like that. It is a question of acoustics, the question of vision, and the question of mechanical equipment, how you're going to air condition your space, because you are not using too much or sufficient natural light. You can't, nobody can. And I expected some studies regarding these elements. Your study of this element is as much as in other projects, say in the school, which practically acoustic does not present as a severe problem as it does in an auditorium. You mentioned something replying Dr. Fahad regarding acoustic, but your sheet at least doesn't show that you have studied that. Also the vision, where people sit, how can they see the stage? Are all the seats capable of having mastery over the stage as far as the vision is concerned? All these things should have been studied and reviewed. Finally, a question about the presentation. Although this is not your main auditorium, you go ahead and develop that in detail, whereas one expects that you develop your main auditorium. And I want the way you furnish your auditorium, how many people can sit? And that central aisle, how many people? Have we calculated that? No, center, that was next. Al-Wastani, Wasat.
This one.
Yeah, this. How many people are sitting there? You know how many people? Out of 1,500, shall we say 500, 600?
Yeah, listen to
And,
that.
okay, didn't you have to have any aisle?
No, here.
600 people sitting all at once
No, here.
is a big problem.
Here, in this whole one, I have 1,000. So it's not more than. And it's
Still,
it's here. But there are standards where you can only get 5 seats ahead, and then you need an ISO. So here, it's not more than 20 seats. In this
how many rows do you have?
here about
No, in that middle part.
here
Yeah. How many rows?
20 in average.
20, and it doesn't seem to be.
You are confused.
How many
Rows.
It's not very convenient to go and sit at the center. These things, or perhaps these, but one way of studying it and revealing it in the jury could have enriched the presentation, which otherwise is nice. No question.
The space in front of the entrance of the main auditorium, do you think it is enough for the flow outside when the people are going outside?
This space here.
No, ask where the stair. Yeah. And I see the gallery is wider than the space there, whereby the needed space is there where the people are coming out.
Yeah, but I have too many exits. Through here and also through there, so people will come down here and go there, some others will come through this door, some others here will come down there. You know, I'm not having too many people using that.
This will bring some acoustical problems. I see you did not really consider those.
Yeah.
You see, to have more exits for escape is okay. But for normal exiting, you should have lesser exits. Or at least if you have that much, it has to be 3. Now you are coming to the main foyer, directly from the auditorium. Anybody who leaves that door open, the noise outside will be inside. The same from the other side.
Well, I think the question of acoustic is certainly not dealt in, because you see the acoustic ceiling that whatever you have drawn there, it just suspended in the middle. It's not even spotted. It's not even fixed with the ceiling or any other structure. And in the second section, BB, you don't even show that.
Well, that's structural. That's structural.
No, the middle sheet. You've got two sections, AA and BB. In AA is showing the acoustic ceiling, and in section BB is disappeared. Can I ask you, what is the detail of the structure here? You have a truss, and you have some solid line. Yes, you have the solid line. What is the solid line showing us?
It shows the roofing above this truss.
What is the roofing?
The roofing will have metal sheet on the truss and then concrete floor.
Concrete floor. And as it appears, it's going to be simply drained off by its own slope. I think the detail of this kind of a structure and how it will be merged with concrete into steel and steel into concrete, and of course, the question of the suspended ceiling and the dispersion of these mechanical facilities like air conditioning, ducts and the diffusers and the return air all have to be thought about. Of course, we cannot expect you to be specialists in these things, but basic ideas have to be really shown or exhibited here. Minimum basic idea has to be shown. I think you have not considered that, at least in that part of the section.
Is your idea for the ducting to supply air conditioning from two directions to a particular space, or it is just came like that? Because, for example, here in those seminar area, I see that you are supplying the central auditorium from this side as well, mainly from the other side. While you could have supplied it from the one side, unless it is your intention to supply from both sides if any breakage in another side.
No, it's just that this is a larger volume, so it needs more another unit, and this is only feed by one, and the other is feeding other. Just
I have two sets of comments, one positive, one negative. Which one do you want first? Negative first. You want the negative first. All right. That's the structures. It's quite a difficult task, of course, and you have come up with certain solutions. However, the solution has been only in the direction of solving the problem that was generated by your spatial composition, and not in the direction of achieving a structure, a logical, rational structure into which the spatial composition that you had in mind would fit. Certain parts of it have been touched upon. There is one minor thing which has been left, and that's the surprise that we have continuously tried to avoid, last-minute surprise. The system detail, we see it for the first time, and that curved beam of yours would hardly work. When you have a curved beam, you have torque within it. No matter what you do, there's going to be torque. By placing your steel linearly or in a straight line, you reduce the torque, but still there is, because of the load coming from the outer and inner parts of the curved beam. Now, when you put a load on it, you increase the torque. And when you put the load eccentrically, like you're doing with the wall you have over there, you further increase the torque. And Because of all these complications, if you get too much forces within the beam, you may end up with having shear at this edge where you have the concrete projection, and it may crack or one part may just fall off. You could have reduced it by insetting your wall, but then you wouldn't have had a straight facade. You would have the beams running across. Now these are the negatives. The positive.
This projection is only 5 centimeters.
5 centimeters. Well, it's a matter of calculation. It may not end up with something serious. It may end up with something serious. And if it's only 5 centimeters, why do you curve it at all?
It's a curved wall.
Yeah, I know, but if the curve between 2 points, these 2 points between the columns, is only 5 centimeters shooting off from the straight line, then if you had it in straight lines, slightly bent at the columns, no one would have noticed it. If it is actually 5 centimeters. The positive side, I want to commend your courage in dealing with such a complicated form. It's something that I would have definitely avoided in my student years, and it's still something that I would avoid even now. It's not easy to deal with such a complex spatial organization. It's not easy to come up with a reasonable solution to it. You have taken these two challenges somewhat at the cost of structural clarity and logic, but that was your choice anyway.
And the efficient space utilization.
Also is sort of...
There is just one comment. Did you consider any way that ladies could use it without any problem? No. So we have to build another one for them? No, but it is
Anis was
major.
attending the meeting that day for the main auditorium. So after that, he said, no, I'm not doing it for ladies.
I have a small comment, just a quick one. Why are you providing the VIP with the small door and the other, the large, luxurious door? Do you think he will feel
It's
bad?
accommodating large number.
Yeah, but this is the main gate.
Yeah, it's the main gate, but by the way it is oriented and it's
Yeah,
shaped.
but he will feel bad, you know, because he's sneaked in the
And for
small
the
door.
VIP,
it's on the
once
touch.
they come, you have to provide them with space where they could sit,
Yeah.
and then they move. Where is it?
Here. They enter here, they have their entrance, and there's their lounge. Is also.
You provide too much space.
Yeah. It should be too much.
For the university?
No, the VIP is the large space for one very important person. May not be commensurate. It's
With his
important.
retinue, it takes quite a lot of space. Yes, so we can... we have time, I think.
Project was taken also as continuity from the last semester project, which was interdisciplinary design, where we had the master plan, which is behind you, and I choose building in the shared facility. That's a schematic layout of what we did last semester, and that's the shared facilities area where I have my library in it. There is two roads. One is for vehicles, which is the ring road, and one which is pedestrian, which connect the theoretical zone to scientific college through the shared facilities. Here, in design, I tried to provide light for all the students beside the windows, where all the students who need to read is beside the window, for two reasons. From case study we did last semester in the existing library, we found out that students tend to sit beside the windows for the warmness of the natural light rather than the artificial light, and also they like to be related to outside, not just being hidden in a place and not related to the surrounding area.
First, I want to introduce the project as certificate languages and computer training and it is a private owner project. And I will start with the design concept of the project, which is an educational institute which who will have the users of it by their own decisions, not a governmental institute. People, if they want to join this institute, it will be by their own decision and choice. So according to the main concept is I want to give the users, when they are getting in this design, is kind of a choice whether they would like to choose the two main functions which is taking place in this building, the languages and the computer services.
Excuse me, I'm not familiar with Al-Farah. Is the name of the owner?
It's the name of the school itself. That's the reason why I start with a brief historical background about the school. This school is the first school that's been built in the kingdom, and all the citizens, they bring the money to build the schools and spend it on it. That's the reason why this school has some special long historical background, and nowadays the government starts giving loan to the schools. The first one has been built in Lahore, and the second one in Bahrain, and then in Jeddah, and they have another one in Mecca. But they have now a very old building. They cannot satisfy the need of the new method of teaching these days. So they decide to build a new school. But actually they are facing trouble with finding the site and the land, because they don't have enough money to buy big land. The land was given by Sheikh Ibrahim Jaffari in Sahat Islam in Mecca. So the Al-Falah authority, they start thinking seriously to have certain of fixed income to spend the money on the school itself. By taking the advantage of Sahat Islam side, and actually the land is on the main road of old Jeddah Mecca road, and the cost of that land is 60 million riyal. So they decide to build a shopping center with tower offices and public library and residential on the main road, taking the advantage of Hajj period, so that can be rent, using that income to spend it in the school itself.
ceremonial. Along the ceremonial drive or entrance to the outer plaza of the central buildings of the new campus university.
Could you briefly orient us where this is according to today?
This is the existing students' building, and we have the stadium along there. And this is adjustment to this side plan. How I have rearranged the design of the central plaza. We can divide the components of the building into natural, which have the botanical garden to the south of it, down there, and the plaza which I have provided. The southern elevation and the restaurant over there, and then the main approach to the building, which is, as I explained before, through here or coming from there. So this implies or attracts the main entrances to my building.
Our college for 1,234 students located in Al-Madinah Al-Munawwara. And the client is the General Presidency for Industrial Education, the Ministry of Higher Education of Saudi Arabia. I will have 1,234 students age of 15 up to 25, 100 teachers, practical and theoretical, and I will have 21 as administration staff. Thus, the location plan shows us the whole site which I have. I have a site of 500 meter by 320 meter, where I am only concentrated on the educational zone, which will be completely surrounded by the housing units. Now for the elevation, the consideration of the elevation which was taken is that the orientation and the amount of light which is needed for a classroom, the light which is needed is 500 lux. Thus, the east and west are treated toward having louvers, and the orientation toward the northeast and the northwest. And these louvers are projected, thus the angles of light will reduce the kind of reflection toward the inside.
Al-Haram is to the north of this location. The main idea came after I finished from the preliminary studies of the project, especially the relationship and interaction between activities, and also after I finished from the sequence the activities due to distance and priorities, and the best things, and to minimize the circulation and the movement inside is to make one strong axis to be all the other activities attached to it. Very pleasant to look to it from the classes, and also it become away from the noisy, from the playing area, because the playing area created noise.
My project is School of Al-Imara in Mecca, Al University. And as we know, the University of Al located in Al-Aziziyya area. And this, my building here, is located in front of 20-meter street high. And from this, I try to have the same integration also in the studios by having all the studios in one level with difference in levels, 2 meters difference between several studios. This different in level can enhance the three-dimensional direction in the design. And we can see this here in the model by having these two. There is 2 meter difference between this studio level and here. Also, I have 2 meters difference here, and even in this part, I have difference 2 meter between several part of the studio.
Yes, your time is running. Osama is going to present to us his project for the Saudi Training Academy.
This project is Light Training Center in Saudi Training Academy. The location of this project in the south part of the King Abdulaziz International Airport. The design concept in this project is to represent the function of the
turn on the volume.
The design concept in this project is to represent the function of this building, which is training pilots for flight. Represent this function by having these simulators exposed to outside and inside, so people when they pass through this building or visitors come to this building, they see these simulators going up and down through this transparent domes, and also when they enter the building, they see these simulators through this glass covering the area. The building itself includes 6 departments. So first, trainers come to this building. They have theoretical part of this training in this block where there are regular classrooms. These simulators are used in a metric structure. This system is a cylinder shear wall, and upon this shear wall there is a running steel beam clamping the transparent plastic dome.
My project is terminal building of Rafah Airport. Rafah is a small town located in the north part of Saudi. In fact, the government decided to build new 4 airports in the north. One of them is Rafah Airport. The airport in Rafah is considered as important support to the development of this town, which can serve the latest aircraft which used by Saudi Arabia, by Saudi Airlines. Rafah airport will be the last one, which is local airport. In fact, in my design, I consider that this kind of building is, I can say that it is the only building which we can see it from above, and the roof it will be seen by the user. For that, and in the same time, I try to give the building itself its own characteristic, and I try to give it a unique feature.
First of all, I would like to mention about the reason of selection this project. Actually, nowadays, Ministry of Health would like to pay more attention towards health services. That is, more employees from outside are imported and anticipate on those services. So this actually make a confusion between the society and the actual technicians. So I decided to build a certain institute which could help to graduate full-skill labels, that is, to anticipate on the health services. Those health services are of different things. First of all, the nursing field, the anesthesiology, pharmacy, clinic, laboratory, surgery, and surgery field. In regard to the main concept of the design itself, actually this type of health institute should be adjacent to certain hospitals, whereby students who anticipate on this type of study participate on those type of study should be in touch with the actual work, that is, to perform their theoretical studies in the actual field. The difference between them is coming in the size of the glass and the type of sunbreaker that it has in the southern part, more deeper than the northern part. In terms of structural concept, actually I've used 2 types of structure, that is reinforced concrete, whereby the actual building covers in big scale, whereas in large span, space frame is used to cover it.
The main function of this establishment is daily newspaper, and production of daily newspaper, and the commercial press. The site located in Mecca at the Medina Road, north of the Unitarian Electrical Company, and a lot of services located around the site, such as the Al-Wahda Club, and far away the telephone and telex. The concept of the design is to create aesthetic image for the internal to satisfy the requirement of the day and night work, and to encourage the commercial relationship for the establishment. As we know, the climate of Mecca is very hot and is dusty. So the best solution is to have a complete enclosure environment. But for the attitude of the establishment, this is not sufficient to have it. So I try to use the interference between the internal and external by using the small courtyard and opening to the outside, and with the maximum control of the external effects. And for the mechanical system, air condition and fire equipment, firefighting. In the terrace floor we have a space which is covered by the roof, allowed for the penetration of the air to the equipment. And from this space the ducts reach the terrace floor and the ground floor.
My project will be give skill and experience to use high technique for high technology for telephone. On the other hand, for justification for this project in Mecca, I have two reasons. First reason, for during we need this training center to give some courses for work field during or before Al-Hajj, because during this time so density for the people here, especially in Mecca, and we use more and more telephone, and some work come from the other city to work in Mecca, and these students need to get some courses for management and maintenance this telephone. This is one reason. The other reason, after I make a study and visit and meet the manager for these people here in this area, they propose to find a training center in their side. You can see more detail for the material for use for floor, as here 3D tile, take part from here and define here market for playing area here, and ceramic for stock. For here, for structure, my module 5 by 7 by 10. Here, 5 by 10. In all my building, instead this area here in this area, I suggest to put a flat slab without beam crossing this area.
From studying different three organizations as the same function, we are seeing in this example the heart of the building as the printing process and the printing machine, which is hidden away from the people, and they recognize the shape of the offices building and be emphasized than other emphasize the heart or the main product thing of this organization. To this point, I'm start to emphasize this heart of the building, which is the printing area, to be seen to everyone pass through this road and projected these building close to that road, and to be everyone pass from this the main road will be seen.
Where is that road?
This road.
All right, then show it on there.
Yes. This road, anyone pass through this road, they can see clearly that building, which is the printing machine working there, and it will be emphasized. The structure, system which I have here, it is the module is 5 by 5 and 5 by 7, and there is a cantilever 1.5 meter in the first floor, and the second floor for the circulation.
We located in Medina al-Munawwara.
First of all, it is very critical for my project to understand the users. The most important part, as I said, of any project is the user. The users we have here are people of old age. They are originally from Medina. They have a very rich cultural background of Medina, and facilities are provided in proximity to the mosque, just as would be in the Saha of the mosque, of the Prophet's mosque. The cultivation in Medina is majorly of three kinds. It is either growing vegetables or growing certain types of fruits like dates, grapes, rumman, and teen, and some other not so major fruits. But this is the major thing. Palms, Medina is well known for the dates, but palms need young people to take care of it, because they have to climb the palms, they have to cut very hard leaves. The grapes, in Medina, grapes are grown over sort of pergola-like structures. And that, in my idea, because the grape was a vine, not a tree, and because it grew on that structure, it gave the old people an opportunity to work in the shade, to treat vines that are not as hard as trees and things. And it also gave me an advantage to the site as a whole, because when I have this pergola-like structure in the north part of the site, and since in Medina the winds are coming from the north, now in the section I provide here 3 rows of trees, canopy trees, and underneath here the air will flow, and I'm using here an irrigating system, a sprinkler system that is distributed